Before you can get to industrial-scale murder, you have to work out the kinks in your beta version. For the Nazi regime, the early 1940s were a period of gruesome research and development. The Einsatzgruppen, special mobile killing squads, were effective in their own horrifying way, but shooting millions of people one by one is messy. It's also terrible for troop morale, requires a shocking amount of ammunition, and leaves a lot of inconvenient evidence lying around. Then there were the gas vans, a sort of mobile murder proof of concept, but they were slow and could only handle a few dozen units at a time. The leadership realized that if they were truly serious about their genocidal ambitions, they needed to stop thinking like thugs on a street corner and start thinking like a modern, efficient corporation. They needed to scale up. On January 20, 1942, 15 high-ranking officials met in a lovely villa on a lake in Wannsee, a suburb of Berlin. It wasn't a secret cabal of cackling villains. It was a morning meeting. They had brandy, they had coffee. Reinhard Heydrich, a man with the chilling nickname the Blonde Beast, chaired the proceedings with the calm demeanor of a project manager kicking off a quarterly review. No one shouted about extermination. Instead, they discussed evacuation to the east, special treatment, and natural reduction. The official document from this meeting, the Wannsee Protocol, reads like the driest, most soul-crushing corporate memo you can imagine. It's a logistical plan, complete with charts estimating the Jewish populations of various countries, all itemized for processing. It was the moment Genocide put on a suit and tie and started using spreadsheets. To make this whole horrific enterprise work, you needed a master logistician, someone who lived and breathed timetables and transportation quotas. Enter Adolf Eichmann, a man who would later claim he was just a simple paper pusher, a cog in the machine. And he was, in the same way a train dispatcher is a cog that decides which track leads to a city and which one leads off a cliff. His office, Section 4B4 of the Reich Security Main Office, was the central hub for organizing the deportations. Eichmann and his staff coordinated with railway authorities, Jewish councils, and local police forces across Europe. They sent telegrams, compiled lists, and arranged the train cars with the detached professionalism of a travel agent booking a very, very one-way trip for millions of people. He never had to fire a gun. His weapon was a fountain pen. An industrial process needs industrial transport. The German National Railway, the Deutsche Reichsbahn, became the conveyor belt of the Holocaust. This wasn't some rogue operation, it was a state-run enterprise that billed the SS for its services. They charged by the track kilometer, with a half-price fare for children under 10 and a free ride for toddlers under 4. A truly thoughtful pricing structure. These special trains, or Sonderzüge, were given priority on the tracks, often taking precedence over military supply transports. Think about that. Getting human cargo to the death camps was, at times, more important than getting ammunition to the front lines. Every station master, every engineer, every scheduler who cleared a path for a cattle car packed with people was participating in the largest coordinated murder in human history, all while dutifully punching their time cards. Once the cargo arrived, it had to be processed. This required specialized facilities. The death camps, particularly Auschwitz-Birkenau, were marvels of perverse engineering. They were designed for maximum throughput. The Nazis even put out tenders for the construction of crematoria. A company called J.A. Topf and Sons, a family business from Erfurt that specialized in industrial furnaces, won the bid. Their engineers proudly designed and patented corpse incineration ovens for mass operation, boasting about their efficiency and durability in company literature. They weren't just building ovens, they were solving a bottleneck in the production line. The gas chambers themselves were disguised as shower rooms, a piece of user interface design meant to prevent panic and keep the workflow moving smoothly right up to the final, horrifying step. The killing agent itself was an off-the-shelf product. Zyklon B was a commercial pesticide, a cyanide-based gas used for delousing clothes and fumigating buildings. Its primary manufacturer was a company called Dagesh, a subsidiary of the chemical giants IG Farben and Degussa. When the SS placed massive orders for Zyklon B without the chemical irritant that usually served as a safety warning, nobody at Dagesh seemed to think this was an odd request. Business was business. They even calculated the most efficient dosage. A few kilograms of pellets dropped into a chamber could kill up to 2,000 people in about 20 minutes. It was fast, cheap, and reusable. A perfect product for its new, horrific application. The transformation of a bug killer into a tool of genocide is a masterclass in the terrifying adaptability of ordinary things. The industrial process didn't end with death. That was just one step. After the gassings, the Sonderkommando teams of Jewish prisoners forced to do this work had the gruesome task of extracting gold teeth. Then the bodies were cremated, but the victims' property was a treasure trove. In a section of Auschwitz-Birkenau nicknamed Kanada, warehouses overflowed with confiscated belongings. Mountains of shoes, eyeglasses, suitcases, and clothes were meticulously sorted, cleaned, and shipped back to Germany for redistribution. Even human hair was cut from the victims, baled up like cotton, and sold to German companies to make things like felt for socks. Nothing was wasted. It was the ultimate, most depraved form of recycling, where human lives were systematically rendered down into their component economic parts for the benefit of the state. So, how do you get thousands of people to participate in this? You turn it into a job. You create a bureaucracy where everyone is responsible for only one small, sanitized part of the process. The train scheduler just schedules trains. The clerk just types lists. The engineer just designs an efficient furnace. The chemist just produces a pesticide. Everyone can tell themselves they are just doing their job, and doing it well. This diffusion of responsibility is the psychological lubricant that allows a monstrous machine to run smoothly. Most of the people who enabled the Holocaust never saw a gas chamber. They sat in comfortable offices hundreds of miles away, pushing papers and meeting deadlines, their complicity hidden behind the mundane routine of a 9-to-5. It turns out the most terrifying monster isn't a foaming-at-the-mouth fanatic, it's a diligent, unthinking bureaucrat. As the Soviet army closed in from the east in late 1944, the industrial machine shifted from murder to frantic cover-up. The SS began blowing up the crematoria and gas chambers, burning warehouses full of documents, and marching prisoners west on death marches to erase the evidence. It was an attempt to dismantle the factory and shred the paperwork before the auditors arrived. But you can't erase an industrial process of this magnitude. The foundations remained. Eyewitnesses survived. And most ironically, the bureaucracy itself left a trail that could never be fully hidden. They were just too good at record-keeping. The invoices for train journeys, the patents for crematoria, the orders for Zyklon B, these mundane documents became the prosecution's most damning exhibits. In the end, the very efficiency they were so proud of became their undoing, a permanent paper trail documenting a crime so meticulously planned, it was impossible to deny. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more historical insights. Thanks for watching, nerds!